take us through the scared wormhole people draft when we get it up on stream.
Sure, yeah. I'm just watching on stream at the moment, so I don't see it yet.
Oh, sorry. I should have gave you guys a little bit more warning that we're switching there. That's my bad. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I just had to find it myself. It's my bad. So there we go. Will, take us through the scared wormhole people draft.
Cool. So yeah, it looks like Carl has banned out the Bal first, pretty standard. So they've banned Bal, Cruci, Gila, and Blue has banned Geddon, Rattlesnake, Vindicator. So all battleship bans from Blue. And it looks like Red has gone with the first pick of a Merlin, very flexible shield ship. So it looks like interesting. So yeah, I guess Blue is going with this Mega Navy Corps and a BNI, which I'm not sure I understand completely. We haven't seen that many battle cruisers so far. I think they're sort of not the strongest in this format. And Red have gone with this Golem Raven Corps, which looks a bit stronger to me at first glance. What do you guys think?
I'm really interested to see how this Vexor and Vexor Navy, I've never seen them pick together like this. I'm kind of interested to see what Darren's plan is here. Mystical, do you have any insight for us here on why start with Vexor Navy Vexor? Oh, Mystical actually is getting his food. Rain, same question to you. I'm sorry, putting you on the spot.
Did you say Vexor and Vexor Navy and why?
Yeah, they started with Vexor Navy together. I've never seen that opening before.
I mean, I think it's a safe way of saying they want drones, but not completely picking out, I would say, some of the larger comps like Adami or anything of that sort. I feel like Vexor and Vexor Navy are a good showing of like, hey, we have drones and we can have like heavy tackle on the field without completely giving it away. Because if you look later, they picked the Navy Meg and then the Brutix Navy, but they could have picked other comps as well. So I think that could be why. At the same time, I think we've seen the Vexor Navy a lot in the past, so maybe they just wanted to pick it before the opposing team picked it.
I would expect to see lots of V-War in the mids of the Vexor and the VNI. It's because they have drones for damage. They don't have to care as much about their other slots.
I think this is the first Golem that we have seen picked. We did see a different Marauder or Paladin, but Golem Raven, it kind of screams to me that there's going to be maybe some hidden remote reps here. What do you think about that, Rain?
I agree. I think normally the comp was it Golem SNI Scorpion Navy issue with kind of like that Tinker setup. So you keep the battleships balled together and you just like leave cruise missiles and just like volley the opposing team and just stay alive as long as possible. I think based on what they're going with, that's kind of what they were looking for, but I'm not sure if it will. I mean, we could be completely wrong. They could completely avoid the Tinker or remote reps in general based on their ships.
Now, Will, do you think? Let's just assume for a thing that this is Golem Raven Tinker. Can the Golem actually tank an all-in Megathron Navy, Brutix Navy, Vexor Navy, Vexor? Like that's a lot of DPS coming in there. Can you actually tank that?
I don't know off the top of my head, but my guess is not if they get on top of him. I'm assuming that they're going to go blasters on the Mega Navy and the BNI, although the BNI might be rails. Yeah, I don't think that's tankable for the Golem.
Yeah. I do really like the Ishtar pick that came out of Scared Wormhole people, or the Ishkur, I'm sorry. That can get onto the Mega Navian screen or Brutix Navian screen, and it also is pretty decent about tanking Kintherm. Do you think that there's any issues with, Mega Navy, Brutix Navy, Vexor? I guess Vexor Navy are drones, but there's a lot of Kintherm damage that they could tank for on the Golem and Raven. Will?
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. I think they can overtank for Kintherm, but on the other hand, there is only so much you can do. You only have so many slots. I'm not. What do you think about this Caracal Ishkur pick? The Caracal is good for killing frigates, but I guess they have the Worm. And the Ishkur, why would they take the Ishkur over one of the AFs that we see more often? I'm not sure.
I think you can tank it really well against the Mega Navy and British Navy, so it was kind of just maybe a heavier screen. But I'm interested to see why a Caracal. Rain, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, Will pointed out it's good for killing small ships. The struggle with the Caracal, I mean, obviously it's more of a kiting ship, but it has a lot of capacitor issues. So I'm not sure, like, why they would. I mean, it could have been a points issue. And well, they do have 2 extra. But yeah, I don't really know why they. I mean, actually, for drones, Caracal is prime for just volleying out drones. So if they wanted to approach it from that method, they picked the Caracal before we obviously saw the worm, but a Caracal should be able to handle a worm as well.
Now, Rain, I'm just reading Twitch. I got a question for you. I'm kind of a new player. I would love to hear a discussion about screening. What are the kind of methods, the ships that do it well, and kind of its purpose?
Yeah, so screening's a term we throw around. So really what screening does is when an enemy, I want to say fleet, but when enemy ships are flying in to your ships or towards your ship / fleet, you use these sort of screening ships, which can be small or heavy tackle, to sort of catch those ships as they come in. So that's scrams, that's webs. So then that way, instead of going out and actually tackling opponent ships, you just kind of sit and wait, and you act as that barrier to sort of block opposing ships from flying in towards your fleet, towards more of those critical ships. So I know the comment was made of the Megathron Navy issue and the Brutix Navy issue sort of getting in and on top of that Golem and Raven. Well, an Ishkur could act as a screen to sit between those two sort of comps. I want to say battleships / battle cruiser, and sit there and wait and then sort of stop them as they come in. So not only are the opposing team wasting time and energy to stop the screening ship, but then that gives your team more availability to get away if so needed, or to volley those ships down.
Awesome, thank you. And then, Mizir, I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of Kaldari ships over here on this side. Do you think that we could see any cheese jams coming out, or do you think that's kind of not going to be happening?
Well, the blue team definitely have the mid slots to spare. Like all of their ships have 4 mid slots, but the Galantis ships of them they are armor tanked or maybe hull tanks, so they don't need the mid slot for tanks. So they could maybe fit jammers against the Kaldari ships, and kind of force them to spread out their damage, so they can't focus any of them down.
Yeah, if we're thinking Tinker, I think we're just assuming cruises so they can apply to the entire arena.
Yeah,
Do you
that was a question
think-
I had actually.
Yeah.
This is a question for Casper and Miz, since you guys have experience flying the Tinker stuff and I don't. Do you not have the option to go with the close range weapons in a Tinker? Because then if the other team sees that and runs away, then there's just nothing you can do.
Mizir, this is all you.
Yeah, so when you make a Tinker setup, you're going to trade off mobility. Your remote repair is going to have a very low range, and your ships are going to be big, slow battleships. So if you can't shoot the enemies, then there's nothing you can do about it. So if the Raven and the Golem picked torpedoes on a close range setup, then the blue team could just kill the Merlin or the Ishkur and then kite away, being outside the range. So when you're fielding a Tinker, you need to have the protection, because otherwise you cannot reach the opponents, and then you'll offer them the control of the match.
That makes sense.
I don't think you can run a Tinker here, though. They have way too much damage out of blue team, and in a screening lineup, like if you're going to screen this to get on them, you're not going to be in rep range then. So they're just going to kill that and then push through. I really expect to see a lot of MJD plays from this Golem and Raven and just spaghetti across the map.
Oh, so you
Interesting.
think that this is going to be just a big rush team from goblins here? I'm going to keep screwing that up. And so they got to act like they're, Raven bushing around to keep star to kill it and just stay away. Is that what you think, Amelia?
Yeah, and that's one thing about the Marauders that we don't really see much in this setting. But the MJD bonus on these Marauders is huge. You can get the cooldown down to 1 minute, which is really important. And if you don't have links, which you don't have on the blue side here, there's no really other way to kite with your MWDs. You're going to get caught here, even with screening.
So interesting. Do you think that the VNI and Vexer, and maybe even Brix Navy, but can you do 100 them in, and can you mitigate enough, Amelia, with cruises? Or do you think that's just not happening with Golem TP bonus?
I don't think that's going to happen with the Golem TP bonus. The Vexer and Vexer Navy, for sure you can, but the BNI and the Megathron Navy are definitely not going to. And they have no problem just shooting the Mega Navy first anyways. That's probably the target they want to shoot.
So question for Amelia. Do you think if they play the MGDs perfectly, they can actually avoid getting caught, or it's just a matter of time?
Well, they have to lock down the 2 fastest ships, and that's going to be, I doubt they're going to have tackle on this worm, but maybe if they're really reading this out on Goblin side, they will be. But if you have the Ishker and the Merlin locking down the Vexor and the Vexor Navy, I think you definitely can kite out the Mega and the Brutix Navy.
Interesting.
All right, so Amelia, you land on grid. You are actually in the Raven Golem or the Golem Raven team, yeah. What are you primarying here? You alluded to something, but talk us through like your first and second primary here.
I'd probably go for the Mega Navy and then the Brutix Navy.
Even though that Mega Navy could be hull tanked up the wazoo.
Yeah, I mean, so could the Brutix Navy, but I don't think there's really. I mean, you could shoot the Vexor Navy and Vexor, but if they're 100 MN, that's a bit scary. So maybe you could wait to see their speeds and go from there. Because you can definitely apply to them if their MWD fit with the 2 target painters probably on the Golem and crush them, and then it makes your job of kiting a lot easier. You know, it frees up the Merlin and the Ishker to then go tackle the bigger stuff.
All right, that makes sense.
So if you're blue and you've read all this out and you see you're worried about MGDs, do you think there's much to gain from going rails on the Mega, or no?
I'm gonna pop in here. If I'm blue, I'm stacking missile guidance disruptors out my ass, straight up, and I'm going rails and I'm kiting. There are 2 damage dealers, really, let's be honest. You could just shoot the Caracal Ishtar Merlin, missile guidance disruptor to the Golem Raven, and never have to go in and just win.
With Cruise, though, how much does the missile guidance disruptors really affect your range? It's like 160 base.
Mystical?
It's like 160 base with Fury.
That's true,
really
and you can't
don't
script
know.
the disruptors, so
Yeah.
probably not going to get it down too much.
You're going to affect the SIG bonus and the precision on it a lot, but if you're hitting like into a Mega Navy or a Brutix Navy, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, every one of those ships does have a drone bay. You could do all RR bots with the guidance disruptors, which have to be unscripted, unfortunately, but still, you get the SIG and range. You might
Well,
be
you're
able to live to
sacrificing
win.
damage from 2 of your ships if you're going bots on the Vexors.
Yeah, that's also true. Huh? There's many different things you could do here, and it's going to be really, really interesting what Carl and Darren, how they outthink each other here.
Oh, for sure. This is a huge mind game here about trying to figure out, okay, is the other team going to fit jams? Are they going to do TDs? How are we going to do our fits? And that's what's great about this type of format is that you can see what's coming before you fit.
So, Amelia, you've had kind of an esports background with Dota. That's correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about how this league works. This is our first live broadcast, and really, the end of our first week of league. Tell us about how these next couple weeks are going to go, and how the points and standings go.
Sure. So the way that this league works is that our teams are split into 2 groups. So we have 14 teams in the league. The 2 groups then have 7 teams in them, and they'll play a round robin amongst their each groups. So it'll be an 8-week tournament, or league, I'm sorry, where each team in your group will play each other. And then at the end of the 8 weeks, we will be going into a final tournament. This final tournament is based loosely on the international from Dota 2 and how they do it. So they're going to have the top 4 teams from each group being seeded into the upper bracket, and then the 5th and 6th teams from the league from your group into the lower bracket, and then the 7th team will unfortunately be will not be able to participate in the tournament.
That was really nice, dude. Unfortunately, you can't come. This is like giving an American a participation medal. Come on, get owned, nerd. You suck. Get out. That's what we should say,
Shots fired.
So, Wingnut, you've been kind of quiet down there. What do you got? If you're picking a side here, what are you going with?
I'm going with blue, buddy. I love my Galente Rush, and I'm just looking at red thinking if they're a tinker, they're lacking links, man. They're not going to be our tank.
That is true. No,
Yeah,
Twitch.
that's true. I'm just realizing this now. In those last 2 picks, there was I don't think either Pontifex or Magus was banned. That would have been the first thing I'd be thinking to pick there, since they have
And they're
no
going
links.
shield as well, so they could have even done Stalk as well. They had all 4 options and the exact points they needed to do it.
Sorry,
and
yeah,
they went
the
Ishka.
shield links, yeah.
Well, they banned out the 2 bonus shield link ships, right? The Stork and the Bifrost were banned out in the second set. So they read that a lot,
Sure, yeah.
which was good by Goblins.
I mean, they still could have picked even a Magus. Some links is better than no links, and they've got exactly 0 here. If they were going to go for Tinker, they haven't got the ability to tank a thing.
Well, I still
Magus
think
is
that
pretty similar
GDs
to
are the
Ishka,
thing.
even in terms of damage as well. So
Yeah, and honestly, a Magus or or a Ponti could still also be tackle as well. It won't be as good as an Ishka, but you can still do it and still get your links benefit as well.
Jero, you still about, sir? Oh, he's trying to unmute his mic. Don't worry about it. He's probably in the kitchen cooking, just making us do all the work because he actually doesn't do anything in the back end. So, Jero, we have a couple bits and bobs that are new on our broadcast. You want to talk us through what changes you've made that are actually freaking cool, and if you want to call them out and say thank you, you can.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I just want to
absolutely. So next week, guys, we're getting rid of Casper, as we all know. He's useless. So
rude.
Oh, somebody wants shade. Why do people always redeem the throw shade at me when I'm talking? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm an asshole. There you go. You'll need to type to me which ones you're talking about, but the first one I know about, I will talk about. So on the Twitch points, guys, if you're not familiar with Twitch, as you watch, more shade at me, you Misty. So you're all assholes. I could be a bit louder.
This is how it feels. Just saying, by the way.
Yeah. So on Twitch points, we added a few extra things in there. So normally you can redeem Twitch points to highlight your message or or to, I don't know, modify an email. We've added 2 in there now that we're going to be experimenting with. You can redeem 500 points to either throw shade at me or at Casper24. I am a slightly harder target because I'm quite busy and thus bulletproof, but Casper is fair game. Fair game for all. React to your message. Jero could be a little harder. I could be, but then again, nah, let's not say that. Anyway, what else have we done? Points timer. You're gonna have to.
I'm just talking about the points that are live on the screen now that he did today.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry. So Gat. So we don't. He likes to stay anonymous, but Gat, who flies with Tuskers, his name's Gat, but he doesn't like us to tell everyone who he is. He's a great guy.
What's his name?
Gat. I think it is Gat.
Okay.
Gat. G-A-T-T. Gat has done God's work for us. He has developed the web tool from the ground up. So if someone can just grab the link and spam it in chat for me, that would be fantastic. But the Casper! Suetonia, good. It's kind of hard to throw shade 126 kilometers to reach Casper.
That's really rude.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll be quick because this is about to, the theory is about to end. So yeah, Gat built this from the ground up, and recently, as you see on stream today, literally a couple of hours before the match, we reworked the match overlay so you can see the points go down as ships are destroyed. So it's clear to our casters and spectators in the event of a point difference, you can see who won.
Yeah, that's actually really, really cool. Because right on the back end, we're always freaking out with like 2 or 3 minutes left. Oh, who's going to win? How many points? And we're like trying to frantically do points, as I'm sure the captains are, right? Mid-match trying to figure out. And now it's just on there and you can see live. So that's really, really cool. Also, Suetonia, I know you're just feeling guilty. So you subbed because that was some mad shade. So thank you for the sub. That's freaking cool. It's going to the white. I can't say that out loud. It's going to go to the back end and help Gat out. But thank you very much, sir. Oh, I do want to point out, by the way, that we have a famous person on grid, an famous person. Villy is actually playing, so I think he's running for CSM also. So have a look at Villy. If he boundaries, we won't throw shade at all, I promise. But it's going to be really cool. I love having big names here. It gets us our following and just shows, how anybody can actually come and show up and do this, whether you're a big F1 monkey leader or an F1 monkey or a big brain, back end AT pilot. It was very, very cool. So thank you for coming, Billy, if you happen to rewatch this. It looks like the teams are getting here, so let's get a little bit back on track. We just went on a huge tangent. Amelia, prediction.
I'm gonna go with blue team because it's easier to accomplish their game strategy, I think.
Alrighty. Rain, prediction. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with red team, mostly because if they actually do a tinker, I love Logi.
Fair. We got a Logi. Okay, I can't say the next word, but we have a Logi fan here. Will, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Amelia. I'm gonna go with blue. Seems a bit easier to execute, and as we've seen, even the good teams maybe are struggling with the execution today.
Oof, shade. Okay, and Monsieur, who do you think?
I'm going to blue as well because I'm not really sure what the win condition is for the red team, and the blue team, Suldarius, is in a brawling ship, I think, so he probably won't boundary this time.
Ooh, max shade. Wingnut prediction. What do you got?
Blue 100%. Red hasn't got links. There's no way they can tank this hot sticky blast of DPS.
All right. So on Twitch, it is 16 to 11 in favor of red. So we'll see. I know some of us voted blue, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens. I am going to chuck it over to Wingnut and Mizier a little bit early because I know we got off topic and there's some primaries they can talk about and some other bits and bobs. So Wing and Mizier, this is all you, sirs. Wing and Rain. I am sorry. It's Rain, Chocolate, and Wing. I'm good at this video game. Go for it, Rain.
Well, g'day guys, welcome back to Wingnut and Rain, commentating the next match. We've got the scared Wormhole people versus Goblins, and I gotta say, I'm loving the amount of ships that warped in at 0.
Yeah, so the what is it? The Goblins folks have all warped in at 0, except for Villy and the Worm. He is at 30. And then the scared Wormhole people all warped at range at 50 kilometers.
I gotta say, I'm loving the fact we've got, Galente versus Caldari with a few outliers apparently. All the Galente guys warped in at 0 as true Galente pilots do, and all the Caldari, of course, warped at 50 like all Caldari do.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at their comps. It kind of makes me sad because I really just want to flip the Ishkur and the Worm. So then we get a full Caldari versus full Galente for like that true sort of faction warfare standoff, but that's neither here nor there.
The frigates are just the traders, it's all good.
The traders, yeah. Alright, so I think we're getting ready to do the countdown. They're doing ready checks in local. What do you think is going to be the first primary for the scared Wormhole people, Wingnut?
Oof, it's going to be hard to tell for sure. They're going to try and pick something they can actually kill. The Worm's going to be too small. The Vexor Navy's going to tank pretty well. I think probably the regular Vexor itself, then after that's going to be whatever they catch, whatever gets too close. I think the Vex is going to be the first target.
What do you think? I'm trying to figure out like what the Caracal truly is going to do.
I mean, he's going to fire missiles and run away like a pansy, like a Caldari truly does.
That's what I would assume,
normal.
But like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like hopeful he's like cheese tanked or something. And the match is starting off as you.
And look at that already. They're charging in as expected. Full Galente rush. Let's go. Mike Warp drives on.
Carl is in the Ishkur, true to himself, also rushing at the Galente rush team. Trying to act as a screen. Acting as a screen. So the first primary for the scared Wormhole people is actually that Brutix Navy, and he's chunking through armor pretty quickly, so he may be hull tanked.
Yeah, I'm expecting a hull tank, and there you go. You can see the hull is quite tanky.
And then the Ishkur taking some heavy fire there. He does have an ADC, so hopefully he lives a little bit longer, trying to hold this mega navy back.
Yeah, well, the Brutix Navy has managed to get around the back towards the Raven and the Golem. So he managed to actually get over to the battleships. Meanwhile, I believe the Mega Navy got held down for a while there, but he's now also coming back in.
Yeah, so I thought the Ishkur who had died was trying to tackle him, but it looks like he missed and was being actually tackled by that Vexor and VNI. And
VNI's lower hull, but the Mega Navy is now on target, so the Raven is now being beaten on by essentially this entire Galente rush. But the VNI is about to go down.
Yeah, although with how low that Raven is, that's actually really, really good. Although the Raven is repping, it looks like he's repping himself, and oh no, the Golem's actually repping him as well.
Yep, this is the one strength that Marauders tend to get, especially with these Tinker style comps, is that they are the RR boat. If you're picking on anything else, then unfortunately you're gonna have to go eat through the RR and their own personal reps. So I don't know if the Raven's the right call here, but I mean they've got a lot of DPS still. They can still break through this.
Yeah, and I'm watching this mega navy. Gosh, this is like a tongue twister. He is actually smart bombing a lot of the drones off of these battleships.
And that Merlin just got deleted in like a single shot.
I wonder if he wasn't moving and just got blapped by either some of those drones or the Mega.
Yeah, Mega just turned around, fired his guns once, and went back to the Raven.
Yeah. So it's actually a DPS like Logi race. This Golem is not doing well at keeping this Raven alive, although the Mega's going down very, very quickly. It's a race.
Like someone's smart bombing off all the rep drones, and the Raven is going into low hull. Like, you overheat your reps, and never mind. He's already gone, so now it's Golem Caracal versus there's still a pretty big chunk of Galente rush.
Yeah, I was gonna say if this Mega is a hull tanked, he's probably going to outlive and win the game for these guys. Caracal down almost instantly too. Wow.
Yeah, that is an amazing amount of DPS.
Yeah,
Also,
so
we didn't see many Mega Navies before, but now we've seen 2 today, and already it's just showing, the Blaster Brawl is alive and well.
yeah, they've been doing well in every match they've been in, even if they don't win. So Golem local tanked, obviously, because there's no other way he's getting any sort of reps back, trying to survive from this Mega on top of him. It's really, I think the Golem could do well if he killed the Mega, but I'm not sure how he can chew through the last of that whole
Yeah, there
tank.
is no way. There's exactly 0 chance of him ripping through the other half of the Mega's tank.
Yeah, and a lot of the fitting for the Golem too is probably going all into those reps as well as his tank. So he's probably not going to have a lot of highs for that, for the DPS.
Yep.
Although,
And let this be a lesson to all cowardly Kaisers that Blaster Brawl will always win.
yeah, I was gonna say the frigates did pretty well. That Ishkur tried his best to go in and tackle, but it wasn't really worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the
No.
Ishka was going in to tackle against 2 cruisers with medium guns and drones and a Mega Navy. There was nothing he could do, as that Golem now explodes.
The Mega Navy carrying his team to victory. We'll
Remember,
point out-
guys, Blaster Brawl is the way to go.
We'll throw it to an